Watch this story in full. Subscribe, comment and like my channel, Green Mythology, for mythology and history. Gateway 2, the captivating worlds of ancient myth. Now watch the story in full please. The Strait of Messina, between the six-headed terror and the devouring whirlpool. In the treacherous waters that divided the sun-drenched land of Sicily from the rugged coast of Italy, lay a strait so perilous, so fraught with inescapable danger, that it became a byword for being trapped between two equally dreadful fates. This was the domain of Scylla and Charybdis, two monstrous entities guarded the narrow passage, ensuring that few who dared to sail through emerged unscathed. On one side of the strait, embedded within a sheer, mist-shrouded cliff face, was the lair of Scylla. She was a creature of nightmare, born, some tales say, from the union of Phorcys and Hecate, or perhaps from Triton or even Poseidon and Cratylus, a sea nymph. Her origins are as varied as the terror she inspired. Once, it is whispered, she was a beautiful nymph, sought after by the sea god Glaucus. But the sorceress Circe, consumed by jealousy for Glaucus's affection, poisoned the waters where Scylla bathed, transforming her into a hideous abomination. Scylla's form was monstrous. From her waist down, her body dissolved into the heads of fearsome, baying dogs. Above, she possessed 12 dangling feet and 6 long, serpentine necks, each crowned with a horrific head. Each head bore a grimace of razor-sharp teeth, arranged in triple rows, capable of rending flesh and bone in an instant. From her cave high in the cliff, she would wait, her numerous eyes scanning the waters for passing ships. When a vessel drew near, her heads would dart out with terrifying speed, snatching sailors from the decks, the desperate cries echoing across the waves before they were dragged back into her oscuro lair to be devoured. No ship, no matter how swift or well sailed, could pass Scylla's yawn she unscathed. Across the narrowest part of the strait, a bowshot away, lay the domain of Charybdis. Unlike Scylla, Charybdis was less a defined monster in form and more a terrifying force of nature personified. She was said to be the daughter of Poseidon and Gaia, a being of immense power who once helped her father claim lands by flooding them. As punishment for her insatiable hunger and her role in challenging Zeus's dominion, the king of the gods struck her with a thunderbolt, casting her into the sea and transforming her into a monstrous whirlpool. 3 times a day, with a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the sea, Charybdis would swallow the vast waters of the strait, creating a monstrous maelstrom that could pull entire ships down into her crushing depths. Then, just as suddenly, she would violently regurgitate the churning mass of water, sending cataclysmic waves crashing outwards. Beneath the surface of her vortex lay the dark, sandy seabed, a terrifying glimpse into the abyss that awaited any vessel caught in her grasp. For sailors navigating the ancient seas, the strait guarded by Scylla and Charybdis represented an impossible choice. To steer too close to Scylla's cliff meant certain death for a portion of the crew, snatched by her ravenous heads. To attempt to avoid Scylla by hugging the opposite side of the strait meant risking being caught in the irresistible pull of Charybdis's whirlpool, condemning the entire ship and all aboard to a watery grave. There was no safe passage, no middle ground. The threat was inescapable, a true, rock and a hard place, scenario from which few emerged favorably. One of the most famous accounts of navigating this deadly strait comes from the epic journey of Odysseus, the wily king of Ithaca. Warned by the sorceress Circe of the twin perils, Odysseus was advised that it was better to face the guaranteed loss of some men to Scylla than the absolute destruction promised by Charybdis. Though his heart ached at the thought of sacrificing any of his loyal crew, Odysseus made the grim decision. As his ship sailed into the narrow passage, the terror was palpable. On one side loomed Scylla's cliff, the air thick with the scent of her foul lair. On the other, the water began to churn and boil as Charybdis prepared to inhale the sea. Odysseus, steeling his nerves, steered his vessel closer to Scylla. His men, their faces pale with fear, rowed with all their might. But as they passed the cliff, Scylla struck. With horrifying speed, her 6 heads shot out, and before Odysseus or his men could react, 6 of his strongest and most skilled warriors were snatched from the deck, the desperate cries for their captain a haunting final sound. It was a sight that Odysseus would later recount as the most pitiable he witnessed in all his long and arduous journey. Having survived Scylla's assault, they still had to contend with the less immediate but equally terrifying threat of Charybdis's exhalation. They rowed on, the roar of the whirlpool receding as they cleared the strait, forever marked by the gruesome price of passage. Even the heroic Jason and his Argonauts, on their quest for the Golden Fleece, had to navigate this perilous waterway. Guided by the goddess Hera and the sea nymph Thetis, the Argonauts were aided in their passage, a testament to the divine intervention sometimes required to overcome such insurmountable natural, or unnatural, forces. The myth of Scylla and Charybdis served as a stark reminder to ancient mariners of the unpredictable and often deadly nature of the sea. It embodied the fear of the unknown depths, the hidden dangers that lurked beneath the waves, and the difficult choices that fate could force upon those who dared to sail them. Their story, passed down through generations, became more than just a tale of monsters. It became a powerful metaphor for the unavoidable dilemmas and terrifying prospects that humans face when caught between equally destructive forces, forever etched in the collective consciousness as the ultimate symbol of being trapped between Scylla and Charybdis.